माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिधारी जय गिरिवर धारी जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यमुना तिरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलेश्वर माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंचतत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय शिल गुरुदेव की जय पिता गौर हरि बोल ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Matagis, welcome all of you for this Srimad Bhagavatam session, and thank you for keeping the appointment with Krishna today. Today is 15th of January 2025, and today the verse that has been given to me to discuss is the fourth canto, ninth chapter, verse number 25. ततो गन्तासि मत्स्थानम् सर्वलोकनमस्कृतम् उपरिष्टात् ऋषिभ्यस्त्वम् यतो नावर्तते गतः ततो गन्तासि मत्स्थानम् सर्वलोकनमस्कृतम् उपरिष्टात् ऋषिभ्यस्त्वम् यतो नावर्तते गतः ततो गन्तासि मत्स्थानम् सर्वलोकनमस्कृतम् उपरिष्टात् ऋषिभ्यस्त्वम् यतो नावर्तते गतः. Yes, you want to recite? Can recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, Mother.
Thank you. Tato gantasi matsthanam sarvaloka namaskrutam uparishtat ऋषिभ्यस्त्वं यतो नावर्तते गतः. Hare Krishna, धन्यवाद.
Yes. I think everybody can recite. Can try.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare.
Tato gantasi matsthanam sarvalokanamaskritam uparishtadrashibhyastvam yato navartate gataha. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I recite?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Tato gantasi matsthanam sarvalokanamaskritam uparishtadrashibhyastvam yato navartate gataha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Suresh Prabhu, you want to recite?
Hare Krishna Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Tato gantasi matsthanam sarvaloka namaskritam uparishat rishipyastvam yato navartate gataha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. We go to the word meaning, synonyms. Tata, thereafter. Ganta asi, you will go. Matsthanam, to my abode. Sarvaloka, by all planetary systems. Namakritam, offered obeisances. Uparishtat, situated higher. Rishibhyaha, than the planetary systems of the rishis. Tvam, you. Yataha, where from? Na, never. Avartate, will come back. Gataha, having gone there. Translation and purport by Divan Geshwar Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. The personality of Godhead continued. My dear Dhruva, after your material life in this body, you will go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by the residents of all other planetary systems. It is situated above the planets of the seven rishis, and having gone there, you will never have to come back again to this material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, the word Navartate is very significant. The Lord says, you will not come back to this material world, for you will reach Matsthanam, my abode. Therefore, Dhruvaloka or the pole star is the abode of Lord Vishnu within this material world. Upon it, there is an ocean of milk, and within that ocean, there is an island known as Shvetadvipa. It is clearly indicated that this planet is situated above the seven planetary systems of the rishis. And because this planet is Vishnuloka, it is worshipped by all other planetary systems. It may be questioned here, what will happen to the planet known as Dhruvaloka at the time of the dissolution of this universe? The answer is simple. Dhruvaloka remains like other Vaikuntha Lokas beyond this universe. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur has commented in this connection that the very word Navartate indicates that this planet is eternal. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyantamrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagananita Shri Vishaka Jamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचम् इमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं नमयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे परमानन्दं। नमो विष्णुपदाय विष्णुविष्टाभूतदशरथं महाविष्णुस्मृति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय विष्णुविष्टाभूतदशरथं गुरुशिष्योनिय पश्चादिष्टान्य श्री अद्वैत। So Hare Krishna, Louis Mataji again welcome all of you for this session. So this chapter is entitled Dhruva Maharaja Returns Home. Because previously, the previous chapter was he leaves home for the forest, right? Then after this tapasya and all, he returns back. See, the devotional service is very, very important. And following these instructions of the spiritual master, that will, if you follow the instructions of the spiritual master point to point, without any deviations, then you're sure to have Krishna darshan face to face. That's what Dhruva Maharaj had, even though he's a 5-year-old boy, and his main intention was for material, right? See, if you can't be with the one you love the one you are with. See, could you imagine living your whole life with someone you don't like or even hate? But that is what we do, living in this world. You can see Dhritarashtra, right? He was always in a state of illusion. He was attached to material comforts, and because of that, he could not get serious about spiritual life. And Dhritarashtra's brother Vidura, Vidura was needed to wake him up, reminding him of his very pitiable condition, no? And he was about to die. So we, at this very moment, may be in the exact same condition as Dhritarashtra. See, let's get real, right? How serious am I in Krishna consciousness right now? You should ask this question. How serious I am in Krishna consciousness right now? See, I could prioritize my chanting better rounds, right? If we are serious in our practice, time can transcend. Very important. Srila Prabhupada says, for one who is Krishna conscious, the miseries of material existence have no effect. See, we cannot stop the miseries of the material atmosphere, but Krishna consciousness is the antiseptic method to protect us from being affected by the miseries of material existence. He says in the purport of 3:22:32. See, a great example of this we can find in the life of Swayambhuva Manu. Bhagavatam relates how Manu spends a long lifetime of 71 yuga cycles in devotion to the Lord. How did he do that? He did it very expertly, arranging his life according to Vedic culture. In this way, in a very nice way, he avoided being affected. See, Prabhupada, in the purport, you can see, he says, early in the morning, the life of Swami Manu, early in the morning, there were musicians who used to sing with the musical instruments about the glories of the Lord. And the emperor, with his family, personally used to hear about the pastimes of the Supreme Person. So this custom is still prevalent in India in some of the royal families and temples. See, professional musicians, sing with shahnais, right? And the sleeping members of the house gradually get up from their beds in a pleasing atmosphere. During bedtime, also, the singers sing songs in relationship to the pastimes of Krishna with shahnais, right? And the householders gradually fall asleep, remembering the glories of the Lord. In every house, in addition to the singing program, there is an arrangement for Bhagavatam lectures in the evening. Family members, they sit down, hold Hare Krishna Kirtana, hear narrations from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and enjoy music before going to bed. So the atmosphere created by this Sankirtana movement lives in their hearts. And while sleeping, they also dream of the singing and glorification of the Lord. So in such a way, perfection of Krishna consciousness can be attained. So now Manu was not into sense enjoyment. He just did his duty as a king. That's all. And that pleased the Supreme Lord Krishna. Similarly, when Dhruva Maharaj was ordered to rule for another 36,000 years with full facilities for sense enjoyment, 4:9:22 to 24, we can see, he was doing it as a duty to the Supreme Lord for his pleasure, not for sense gratification. In this way, even though Swayambhu Manu, Dhruva Maharaj, they were given the facilities for material enjoyment, they utilized it for service of Krishna. So this way, we can transcend the effects of time. So the motto is, improve your relationship with time. Get serious in the service of Krishna. See, Dhruva Maharaj is known for his steady and firm determination. He was blessed with a very wonderful mother like Suniti, who instructed him that without thinking anything inauspicious for his stepmother Suruchi, he has to go to the forest and do penance to see the Supreme Lord. See what a wonderful instruction she gave. So without any fear, Dhruva started to the forest, fully determined to see the Lord face to face. No other, he was completely focused. See, the all merciful Lord, no, he blessed Dhruva with the opportunity to meet the ideal spiritual master, Devarshi Narada Muni, from whom Dhruva learnt the process of devotional service. Even though he was a very small child of 5 years, he sincerely followed the instructions of his mother and spiritual master. See, mother and spiritual master with the fixed determination. And he performed devotional service and obtained the perfection of life. See, there are many great devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, no, who have offered wonderful prayers to the Supreme Lord. Devotees like Kunti Maharani, Bhishma Deva, Shukadeva Goswami, Prahlad Maharaj, and now Dhruva Maharaj, so many others. Among these, most of us could relate our situation to that of Dhruva Maharaj. Because we approach the Supreme Lord mainly to fulfill our material desires. Same like Dhruva Maharaj, initially he wanted material desires, right? But unfortunately for us, due to this material hankerings, the mind keeps wavering. And there is no steadiness in our devotional service. So let us take the shelter of Srila Narada Muni, Dhruva Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and Guru, and learn from them as to how we can be steady in our devotional service. So when Narada Muni first meets Dhruva Maharaj, he tries to convince him to go back home, right? Go to his home. Because it will be difficult for him to undergo austerities at such an young age. But Dhruva Maharaj very honestly replies to Narada Muni that being a Kshatriya, he is unable to forget the insulting words of his stepmother. So he requested Narada Muni to teach the way by which he could meet the Supreme Lord and request him to give a position more exalted than his father and grandfather. So pleased with this determination, Narada Muni begins to instruct him. See, our love for a person, it sprouts and becomes firm when we come to know about the person's features, qualities, and activities. Correct, no? Only when you don't know that person about his features, qualities, and activities, then our love sprouts. So, as an ideal spiritual master, Narada Muni, before giving Dhruva Maharaj the mantra to meditate, begins to explain the glorious features and qualities of Krishna. That's why in Bhagavatam 4:8-46, he says, the Lord's form is always youthful. Every limb and every part of his body is properly formed, free from defect. His eyes and lips are pinkish like the rising sun. He is always prepared to give shelter to a surrendered soul. And anyone so fortunate as to look upon him feels all satisfaction. The Lord is always worthy to be the master of the surrendered soul, and for he is the ocean of mercy. So the first 2 lines, Narada Muni explains about the bodily features of the Lord. And in the last couple of lines, he describes the glorious qualities of Krishna. So Niramnam means transcendently pleasing, and Karunarnavam means ocean of mercy. Only when a person is merciful and pleasing, we feel like surrendering to that person. Sharanyam means the person to whom, unto whom it is just worthy to surrender. Pranatashrayanam means he is always prepared to give shelter. So the Lord is so merciful, he is always ready to protect his devotees, especially who are surrendered to him. And he is available for us all the time because he knows that in this material world, there is danger at every step. Padam yad padam. And that we are like persons who need emergency care in the hospital. So unless the hospital and doctors are available 24/7, patients are bound to suffer. So the Lord, being the supreme loving Father, keeps himself available all the time. So in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, Narsimhadev was inside every pillar in the assembly of Hiranyakashipu, so that he can immediately jump out from the pillar and save his devotees. Because he doesn't know in which pillar Hiranyakashipu will be hit, right? Is it in this pillar? So in his wonderful purport of 226 of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, gives a very nice example of how Lord helped Srila Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to live in such a cave, and by chance, a great venomous snake was a co-partner of the cave. Some admirer of Thakur Haridasa, who had to visit the Thakur every day, he feared the snake and suggested that Thakura leave that place. Now, because his devotees were afraid of the snake, and they were regularly visiting the cave, so Haridas Thakur agreed to the proposal on their account. But as soon as this was settled, the snake actually it crawled out of its hole in the cave and left the cave for good before everyone was present. See, the point is by the dictation of the Lord, who lived also within the heart of the snake. The snake gave preference to Haridasa Thakura and decided to leave the place and not disturb it. So this is a tangible example of how the Lord gives protection to a bona fide devotee like Haridas Thakur. So the first important lesson we learn from these great souls is that we should surrender unto Supreme Lord in all situations and fully depend on Him for protection. Krishna is the source of all beauty. So his form is matchless. So what happens? The pure devotees of the Lord are blessed with direct audience with the Lord, right? They can see him face to face. So what they describe is not something imaginary. They can see the Lord, pure devotees. So those who sincerely listen to their descriptions, with unflinching faith, will also be able to see the Lord. How? In 4846, Prabhupada writes the purport, very nicely clarifies this point. He says, the description given by Narada Muni is not imaginary, because he was giving the form of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord to Dhruva Maharaj, right? So the description given by Narada Muni is not imaginary. The form of the Lord is understood by parampara system. Mayavadi philosophers say that we have to imagine form of the Lord. But here, Narada Muni does not say that. He gives the description of the Lord from authoritative sources. He himself is an authority, Narada Muni, and is able to go to Vaikuntha Loka and see the Lord personally. Therefore, Narada Muni's description of the bodily features of the Lord is not imagination. See, sometimes we give instructions to our students about the bodily features of the Lord, and they paint him. Their paintings are not imaginary. This Prabhupada is telling, he gives instructions to student disciples about body features, so they paint him. Their paintings are not imaginary. The description is given through disciplic succession, just like they're given by Narada Muni, who sees the Lord and describes his bodily features. So, such description should be accepted. And if they are painted, there is not imaginative painting. We see on the beautiful. So, spiritual world is inconceivable, right, for ordinary souls like us. The paintings of the Supreme Lord and his associates done by disciples of Srila Prabhupada attract people all over the world, even today. See, in India at least, we can say for sure that almost every household has at least one of those paintings. So because of his pure devotion, Srila Prabhupada was able to direct his disciples to draw such wonderful paintings, in spite of the fact that they had no clue of Vedic culture. Just like how Narada Muni is compassionately helping Dhruva Maharaj in this Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada, due to his insurmountable compassion, is helping suffering souls like us by giving us the gift of devotional service. If not for his mission, we would never have known about Mahamantra, Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Prabhupada has dedicated his whole life in helping the people to chant, hear, study, and speak about the Lord. See, as an Acharya, he's also shown how to practice the devotional service, how to practice the spiritual injunctions in the daily life. See, Narada Muni, he advises Dhruva Maharaj that besides doing deity worship and chanting, it is also important that we meditate upon the transcendental activities of the Lord. So scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are full of transcendental activities of the Lord. Since we are present in this material world and susceptible to contamination, there is always a chance that we might tend to lose our faith and also the taste in process of bhakti if we don't meditate on the transcendental activities of Krishna. See, on the other hand, by regularly and seriously meditating on the transcendental activities of the Lord, our faith in bhakti process will improve, not gradually, in leaps and bounds. Prabhupada, in his wonderful purport to the verse 1:18:11, says, the more we hear about the transcendental activities of the Lord, as they are stated in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the more we can know about his transcendental nature and thus make definite progress on the path back to God. So, by regularly hearing about his pastimes, activities, and his nature, we will also gradually develop the transcendental nature and qualities of the Lord. Such remembrance of Lord's activities will have a positive effect in improving the quality of chanting and deity worship also. So all Vaishnava Acharyas, like the six Goswami, Vrindavan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, all are engaged in deity worship. Still, they spend so much time in studying, writing, and speaking about the transcendental activities of the Lord. So this shows the importance of meditating and remembering the transcendental attributes and qualities of Krishna. In fact, if we chant the holy names nicely, without offense, then gradually we will become more and more inquisitive to know and learn about the transcendental qualities of Krishna. And then ultimately, in the advanced stage of devotional service, it becomes so difficult for us to keep away from speaking about the Lord or hearing about the Lord. That is what Prabhupada beautifully says in his purport of 2:1:11 Bhagavatam. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, about his attributes, his pastimes, and so on. And thus, the necessity of the chanting of the glories develops successively. Prabhupada says that the word necessity is very important. Necessity of the chanting of the glories develops successively, which means that chanting the glories of the Lord becomes a necessity and not an option at the advanced stage of hearing. One cannot help but keep glorifying the Lord continuously. To that extent, we will come. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so intense in his eagerness to glorify Krishna that at times he would speak as if he had 1,000 mouths. See, Lord Anantadev is glorifying the Supreme Lord with his 1,000 mouths for thousands of millenniums. But still, he's not satisfied with this. So we can see from the advice of Narada Muni and also from Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purpose that the processes like Sharanyam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam, Smaranam, they are all interlinked. And performing one process nicely, it positively feeds into the other, with the ultimate result of developing steady transcendental love and devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, upon seeing Krishna, now Dhruva wanted to compose prayers to glorify him, right after his tapasya. But he became tongue-tied. He could not. He could not say anything. So Krishna, who had come in the four-handed form of Vishnu, he touched his forehead, right, with his conch shell. The moment he was touched by the touch of Krishna, because the conscience is different from the Lord. It's not, it's not different from the Lord. So immediately, the senses of Dhruva Maharaj became alive, not to the material world, but they became alive to the spiritual world. That is what we must do. Our senses must be attracted to Krishna in the form of hearing, in the form of chanting, in the form of remembering. That will automatically take us out of the material concepts of life. Otherwise, see, you and I can walk everywhere whole day and keep saying, I am not this body, I am not this body, I am not this body. But all it takes is for someone to come to you and give you a tight slap. Then you say, my God, I am this body. Highly painful, is it, right? So artificial way of coming out of bodily concept of life is not the way of Krishna consciousness. The way is to practice. That is the way. That is the command. So Dhruva Maharaj concludes after chanting beautiful prayers to Krishna. He says, Krishna, I am fool number one. I came asking you for the world. But you have given me something which is much more than that, and that is bhakti. I came looking for broken pieces of glass, whereas actually diamonds were waiting for me. This is my foolishness. So Dhruva Maharaj's foolishness is ours to reflect. What are we running after in this world? We think that money in the bank is going to save us till the end. Nothing is certain, Prabhus and Matajis. If you have something, use it or lose it. Isn't it true? If you have time, if you have your faculties, we all have to come and sit here and hear about Krishna. That is much better. If you have so much money and don't know for some reason what to do about it, then use it for Krishna. That is it. If you don't use it for Krishna, you will use it for Maya. And if you use it for Maya, you will never be peaceful. This is the way for Krishna consciousness. See, after Dhruva Maharaj becomes a great devotee, 36,000 years he rules Dhruvaloka. But in that 36,000 years, a terrible event occurs. His brother Uttama, who used to sit on the lap of his father, he was also grown up, right? And one day in a battle, Uttama was killed by a celestial being known as Yaksha. So Dhruva Maharaj is very close to his brother. He becomes very upset. See, when we lose something which is precious to us, it is natural that we become upset. But he is a great devotee, Kshatriya. So he says, Dhruva Maharaj says, I will go to the Yaksha planet, kill the Yaksha who killed my brother. So he goes and kills. After killing the Yaksha who killed his brother, now Dhruva Maharaj's anger continues. And he kills the entire Yaksha population. Kshatriya, very powerful, right? He doesn't want to stop. So at that point of time, Swayambhava Manu comes and advises him. Dhruva Maharaj comes from a great established line of great devotees. Brahma is a great great grandfather. Swayambhava Manu is his great grandfather. Therefore, he is of good stock, right? But even then, despite having taken darshan of Krishna, he became a prey to anger. So that is the other point that stops our determination when we become angry. When we are angry, when we are disturbed, we are not determined. Please understand, when we are angry and when we are disturbed, no, we are not determined. We become determined to be angry then. We become determined to be disturbed. But we are not determined to be with Krishna. So Dhruva Maharaj lost his cool. Swami Manu comes to him and says, Dhruva, you are a great devotee. What are you doing? Have you forgotten that you have met the Supreme Lord? Now, this is the third spiritual master, Swami Manu, in Dhruva Maharaj's life. Suniti first, then Narada Muni, now here, Swami Manu. Now, because Dhruva Maharaj hears him now, Swami Manu says, the Lord is not pleased with one who behaves like you. The Lord is pleased if one behaves titikshaya karunaya maitraya chakya jantushu. One is friendly to living entities, one who is friendly to living entities, who is tolerant, and one who is merciful, sarvatma samatvena. One who sees equally everyone. Then Bhagavan samprasaditi. Then that person becomes the source of pleasure to Krishna. Very important advice for all of us. Whenever we want to become angry with a devotee or upset with someone, always think, do you think that you're getting upset or angry with someone will upset Krishna? Yes. then don't do it. Our aim is to satisfy Krishna, not to satisfy ourselves. So Dhruva Maharaj comes to his senses again. He thanks Swayambhu Manu. So Dhruva Maharaj was very determined to kill the Yakshas, right? There also he was determined. But that determination was misplaced. Please understand this point. Dhruva Maharaj was very determined to kill the Yakshas. So there was a determination was there also, but that determination was misplaced. Determination which is misplaced is of no value. Determination which is placed in the right place by the instruction of the spiritual master, that is valuable. So Dhruva comes out of his illusion of anger and he continues to rule the pole star. Until today, he remembers the Supreme Personality of God Krishna in the continuous pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. See, at the end of Dhruva Maharaj's life, in Bhagavatam, when the narration ends, the very important point that we understand is that the planes from Vaikuntha, the planes came, right? Vaikuntha, they come to pick up Dhruva Maharaj. Just imagine, when we die, who comes to pick us up? Anyone wants to pick you up? Anyone wants to pick you up when you are dead? No. Only the burial people come to pick us up, right? For Dhruva Maharaj, they booked one plane from Vaikuntha. Made sure it was ready in time. No driver needed. Automatically it comes down. So Dhruva Maharaj is about to get into the aeroplane. When Yamaraj himself comes before Dhruva and puts his head below. Dhruva Maharaj is such an exalted personality that he has conquered death. Because he put his step on Yamaraj and then boarded the plane. Even though, despite the fact that he started devotional service in a mixed way, because he followed the instructions of his spiritual master Narada Muni, he becomes successful. So this episode of Dhruva Maharaj's life is very important. As he's flying in the aeroplane, he's asking the Vaikunthapatis, I'm very happy to go back to Krishna, but where is my mother? Because mother was the person who set me on the path. Where is she? And the Vaikunthapatis say, don't worry. Krishna has arranged everything. See, your mother is in the other plane. She is going before you. So Dhruva Maharaj becomes very pleased. So this is the mood of a devotee who is determined. A devotee who is determined in devotional service is always determined to ensure that other devotees are always above him and that he is always below them. The kingdom of God is available to the humble and meek, not to the proud, not to the one who thinks, I am the greatest. So Dhruva Maharaj sincerely felt that his mother was more advanced and therefore she should go to Goloka first. He was also grateful to his mother. If not for her advice, I would have never gone to see Krishna. So this is how we can sustain our determination. On the platform of gratitude, on the platform of following the instructions of the spiritual master, and finally on the platform of always remembering that our goal of existence must be to remember Krishna, and that Krishna must be the only object of our love. See, there's a question. If Dhruva Maharaj went to Vaikuntha Loka, then who is in Dhruva Loka? See, the Dhruva Maharaj's pole star continues to be there. But it's no longer physically necessary to be there in pole star. Because that is a product of a material desire. But the real desire which he finally achieved was the product of determination to go back to Godhead. So the pole star is there. It is a reminder to all of us to remember the greatness of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj eternally serving the Supreme Lord. Another question is, Dhruva Maharaj had direct darshan of Krishna, right? So by darshan of Krishna, all the impurities will go. So how come Dhruva Maharaj became angry and killed all the Yakshas? The answer is, how can someone who has taken darshan of Krishna again be influenced by Maya? Very good question, right? Sorry, excuse me. So the point is, so how can a person who has only taken the darshan of Krishna can be influenced by Maya? It's a very good question, right? See, what we have been doing until the curtains were closed. When you go to a temple, right? Curtains were closed, right? before it is closed, it is open. So when you go to have the darshan of the Lord, till that time, what we are doing? We are all taking darshan of Krishna also. Because the deities in the altar are there in the altar. Radha Shyam Sundar is there, right? And they are non different from Krishna. But after taking darshan of Krishna, still we are always ready to fall back into Maya. The reason is that the material world is so powerful that the nature of the material world is to make us forget Krishna. It is the nature of this material world. But Dhruva Maharaj is not actually forgetful of Krishna. Please understand this point. See, our Shastras tell that great personalities like Dhruva Maharaj, Parishit Maharaj, actually speaking, they never forget Krishna. But the very interesting thing to understand is, but if they never forget Krishna and lead a perfect life, how will we learn? Because we are imperfect. That is why Parishit Maharaj reacted to Shamika Rishi by putting a garland of dead snake. Actually, it was not necessary for him to do that. He is a devotee. But if he did not do that, then two things will not happen. Number one, we won't have Bhagavatam today. Number two, we will not learn that how, despite the fact that he had done something which is faulty, he rose above the faulty nature to become a perfect devotee. These two things will happen. So Dhruva Maharaj's practical relation of this episode is that we get encouraged by him. That despite the fact that we may sometimes go up and down in devotional service, our guidance of our spiritual masters will always keep us on track. Sometimes some moments are there. That is also because of the material moods. So Dhruva Maharaj's life is an example to teach us how we can also advance despite obstacles in devotional life. So it's a very practical way not to become discouraged. Otherwise, you will say, no point in reading Bhagavatam. Why? Why? Because all their lives are perfect. What relevance is their life to us? Dhruva Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj. But when we read about the life of a devotee, how he is put into difficulty, into challenges, and how he comes out of it, then we take courage from it. Yes, this is the way. This is how we can overcome the miseries. This is the point. Let us see what is the best way to concentrate the mind upon Krishna. See, the more I try to concentrate, the more I get distracted. So what is the best way? See, now if I say, all of you don't think about about the elephant for the next 10 seconds, what does the mind do? Immediately it starts thinking of the elephant. This is the nature of the mind. So the nature of the mind is that it doesn't want to remember Krishna. Nature of the mind is chanchal. It wants to give you problems. See, it is not the fault of the mind. It is how it is made. It is our fault for taking this sharir, body, and having this mind. It is our fault. So the best way to remember Krishna is to chant his names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when you chant his names, sometimes the mind will go here and there. Don't worry. The progressive chanting eventually will still the mind. It cannot happen overnight. It's a lifelong challenge, right? But then in life, what else is not a challenge? Everything is a challenge. Especially that which is valuable becomes more challenging. So if you take with good attitude that, yes, mind will give me trouble, but use intelligence. Intelligence is higher than the mind. Use it by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So by doing so, all our mental hankerings will go away. And our only prayer is to always engage in transcendental devotional service. So Dhruva Maharaj becomes very regretful, no? Because he becomes, and because he becomes regretful, he becomes a devotee. Very nice point. A devotee always regrets that he's not up to the mark. A devotee never says, I am up to the mark. Then he's not a devotee. Devotee is always knowing that I am not up to the mark. Sorry. Sorry about that. So devotee is always knowing that I am not up to the mark. Very humble, surrendered. Krishna is so kind that Krishna says, Dhruva Maharaj, don't worry. Whatever you wanted in the first place, I will give it to you, even if it is material. You will have the position of the pole star, Dhruva Loka. Even when the material manifestation crashes and gets absorbed into me, at the time of annihilation, Dhruva Loka will remain. So Dhruvaloka never goes into annihilation. See, Dhruvaloka Shastras tell us that it remains. So today we look into the sky, the most powerful, brightest is Dhruvaloka, pole star. Krishna says that not only I will give you Dhruvaloka, but I will personally expand and make sure that I am there to always give you the protection. That is why Shastras say that Dhruvaloka is akin to Shvetadvipa, the causal ocean. So it is that part of the universe which is closest to the spiritual world. And the Lord is sitting there, taking care of his devotees even till now. Why? What is there about Dhruva that is so special for Krishna? He had three things. One was his resolute determination. Two, to do what? To do devotional service. And three, he followed the instructions of first his mother and second Narada Muni. So this is how we have to live in devotional service. Resolute determination to do devotional service and follow the instructions of the elders and spiritual master. This is how we have to live in devotional service. See, in the purport, we can see in this, the most important factor in this 25th verse, right, which we are discussing. In this word, Navartate is very significant. It's a Prabhupada says, Lord says, you will not come back to this material world, for you will reach Matsthanam, my abode. Therefore, Dhruvaloka, the pole star, is the abode of Lord Vishnu within this material world. Upon it, there is an ocean of milk. And within that ocean, there is an island known as Shvetadvipa. It is clearly indicated that this planet is situated above the 7 planetary systems of the Rishis, and because this planet is Vishnu Loka, it is worshipped by all of the planetary systems. It may be questioned here, what will happen to the planet known as Dhruva Loka at the time of dissolution of this universe? Answer is simple, Dhruva Loka remains, like other Vaikuntha Lokas beyond this universe. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented in this connection that the very word Navartate indicates that this planet is eternal. So very powerful statement, understand, we can understand. So the devotion service, the determination, just like Guru Maharaj, the lesson is how you are determined to do devotional service. Although initially you went to the material, we are all in the same platform, right? We only want something material. But when you go to Krishna with resolute determination and following instructions of our Guru and follow it sincerely without any deviation, with complete focus, then we will be living in devotional service. We will be absolutely purifying ourselves. That's what we have to. We have to purify ourselves, complete all these things. Since have to be clarified, eradicated, completely pure. Then we can see Krishna face to face. I'll stop here. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Kumari ko. Vancha kalpataru vich kripasindu bhai vacha. Patidanam pavane bhi Vaishnavi. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or anything to share, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Please share the recording. I will hear it again. So many useful and practical points which we need to keep reminding every day. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
great.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You
you.
keep motivating us, Prabhuji, and don't feel like stopping the class, but the time is a factor. Thank you
Good
very
practice.
much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. As Suresh Prabhu said, no, message that determination is the main factor. We should be resolute determination like Guru Maharaj. Very nice. Thank you.
Prabhuji, it is Vyavasayatmika
Hare
Buddhi.
Krishna.
Correct, correct. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
AK
Krishna.
Guru. Very nice. Good. Thank you for that point.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, I totally agree with what Dr. Kalyani Mataji, she told Prabhuji. I vouch, I second that we are not, I mean, we are still starving for your continued classes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, if you have anything else to share or any questions, otherwise we'll stop here. Okay. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.